Welcome back to another enlightening episode of The Truth About the Plant, the show that takes you on a journey through the world of psychoactive plants and alternative wellness, all while delivering those real actionable insights that you crave. I'm your host, Christina Dees, and this is my equally talented co-host, Dr. Amanda Reiman. Dr. Reiman, you want to tell them why we're here each week?
I'd love to. So we're here because it can be so difficult to find evidence-informed, actual information about cannabis on the internet. You may have a very important question, one that could impact your health, safety, and well-being. You Google it, you get 100 different answers, and many of those answers completely contradict each other. So how are you supposed to know the truth? Well, that's where we come in. We like to answer your most pressing questions about cannabis, usually in around 15 minutes or less, to help you get the information you need and get on with your day. Think of us as your really cool aunties or your kick-ass granddaughters, the women in your life who will always tell you the truth.
That's right. And today we are thrilled to welcome a special guest to the show. With his deep knowledge and passion for all things cannabis, he brings a wealth of insight into how cannabis can fit into an active, balanced lifestyle. So together we're going to explore the question, how can cannabis enhance your outdoor workout? Well, get ready to learn about product effects, cannabinoids, and the best way to personalize your experience. Whether you're a weekend warrior or a daily fitness enthusiast, our guest expertise will bring a fresh perspective to your routine.
So I am so excited to welcome this guest this week. I have known him his entire life, quite literally, because he is my younger brother. So Scott has worked in the cannabis space now for quite a while, both as an amateur, as an expert, as a guide, as an educator. And he was actually part of the first graduating certified Ganjier class. And now he writes edibles reviews for Budist, which he's going to tell you a little bit more about. Scott has always incorporated cannabis into his exercise routines, into his hiking, into his outdoor activities. So I thought he'd be the perfect person to come and tell you a little bit about how you can incorporate cannabis into these routines as well. Cannabis and exercise, for a long time, they thought that these were two diametrically opposed activities. But we know from research that a lot of consumers like to use cannabis before they work out, during their workout, and to help with recovery afterward. So Scott is here to tell us a little bit about what products you should be looking for to enhance these different sections of your outdoor adventure. Scott Reiman, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much. Thank you both for having me. I'm really excited to be here, really excited to talk about how I use cannabis in my workout, and I love your show. I'm really excited to be here. Thank you.
Well, great. So, Scott, you write edible reviews for Budist, and as part of that, you have tried a lot of different types of edibles with varying terpene and cannabinoid profiles. And a lot of times you are trying these out while you're out and about hiking around the beautiful Bay Area, and you've learned a lot about which products are most useful to you when you're getting ready for your hike, during the experience, and then afterwards for recovery. So we're here to ask you, how do you incorporate cannabis into your outdoor workout?
So first, let me start by saying, thank you for the great intro. I want to talk a little bit about what I do at Budist. So at Budist, what we're trying to do is we're trying to create a culture of cannabis connoisseurship. And we're doing that through multiple avenues. First, we do events where we might do product tastings or educate consumers on how to properly assess the quality of a cannabis product. And we also do, high-end events like, curated food and cannabis pairings. We're about to do a full 5-course Friendsgiving meal down in Los Angeles. So just a lot of educating the consumer in events like that. And then, as you were mentioning, we also have the app where we do product reviews. It's kind of like a Rotten Tomatoes style where there are Budists who are the critics. I'm a Budist. These are people with an extensive background in the cannabis industry. Maybe they've been judges before, but they know products and they really can articulate the quality of a product very well. And then there are consumers who can also come on and rate products. So each product will have a Budist score and a consumer score, kind of in the Rotten Tomatoes style. And we're also trying to be kind of more like TripAdvisor in that we have long form reviews. A lot of websites that already have reviews of cannabis products, the reviews might just say, this was fire, or this was bad, or something very short. We really want to let the consumer know why we feel that this product has quality or value or what it can bring to the consumer. So at Budist, every 2 weeks, we release, as part of our newsletter, a Budist Selects, which focuses on one Budist and products that they've reviewed in a specific category. My category that I reviewed a couple of weeks ago was Adventure and Recovery. So these were 5 products that I reviewed in one day that were all kind of focused around my pre, during, and post-workout regimen. And what was nice about this was that it was not all edibles, and it was not all psychoactive products. It was a various methods of consumption and cannabinoid profiles that really all kind of went together with where I was consuming them around my workout. So to start, I personally like to smoke a joint before I go for a big hike. Now, I know that's not for everybody. I know some people find that kind of counterintuitive to smoke something and then go exercise. But for me, I find that's just the fastest way to get the effects that I'm looking for when going into a hike. So going on a hike, that's where I like to say I do my best thinking. I love nothing more than being out in nature with just myself and my brain and really getting deep into my thoughts. I feel it enhances everything around me and just makes me a lot more present in my surroundings. So I like to smoke a joint with some flower that's going to be high in terpenes that I know are going to give me the effects that I'm looking for on a hike. For me, those are limonene, number one, because it gives me just full body uplifting energy that I know is going to carry me throughout that hike. I also like terpinolene because that really gets my brain going. I know terpinolene isn't for everybody. It can kind of lead to anxiety for some people. So again, I would I would not suggest using a product before a hike unless you already know how it's going to affect you. There's nothing scarier than being in the middle of the woods and all of a sudden you have a little extra anxiety. You start looking around, thinking there are things in the woods. You start hering little sounds.
There are things in the woods, like bears.
There are things in the woods. I have not encountered any bears yet, thankfully. But no, you want to know before you're going on this big hike, this big journey into nature, you want to know how the product you're taking is going to affect you. So that's kind of number one. So smoke my joint, got my brain going, I got my body uplifted, everything's great. I venture off into the woods and I go on my hike. Now, for this specific hike that I did, I climbed to the top of Mount Tamalpais, which is in Marin County, California. It's about 2,200 feet elevation from where I started, and it took me about 2 hours to get to the peak. It was about 6 miles. So by the time I got up there, my flower, the effects of the flower had pretty much kind of worn off. They had more settled into the body. They weren't as cerebral. So I wanted to boost it with something that was going to give me some focused cerebral energy for the rest of the hike. So I had brought with me an edible that is Kana minis. So Kana may be available where you are. They may not. But they're little bite-sized chocolate candies. And each one contained 4 milligrams of THC and 2 milligrams of THCV. And if you're not familiar with THCV, it's been called cannabis Adderall before because it really does give you that focused cerebral energy. It can also be an appetite suppressant, which can be nice on a hike if you don't want to bring too many snacks with you or just want to get through your hike before eating anything else. But it really helped me also going down the mountain. I need to be a lot more focused because it's real easy to lose your footing going down the mountain. It was dry, it was dusty. So having that kind of cerebral focus that went along with that full body energy really helped me get through the rest of the hike. Now, a lot of times I would consume something with CBG or CBD before going on a hike as well. because that really helps with pain, anti-inflammation, anti-anxiety, just kind of keeping you relaxed. And it also acts as a nice balance to the sativa energy that you're getting and the cerebral energy. Because I was doing product reviews, I kind of wanted to consume each product separately, so that I could really get the full, gist of what this product is giving me by itself. But I would recommend adding something with CBG, something with CBD before going for a hike, especially a long, strenuous hike, to really help with that soreness and inflammation that a lot of people get by the end of the hike. But seeing as I was doing separate products, I waited until after the hike, got home. I had to take my daughter to soccer practice. So, a lot of people don't want to be high all day, but still want products that can aid in recovery from a workout. So when I got home, I consumed pure CBG tablets, 4 25 milligram CBG tablets, which that's a large dose. A lot of people are saying, 100 milligrams, that's pretty crazy. Now, 100 milligrams is my minimum effective dose for THC. Obviously, that's a lot more than a lot of people consume. But one of the great things about cannabinoids like CBD and CBG is because they're non-psychoactive, you don't really have to worry about overconsumption being too much of an issue. If you get home and you're really sore from your workout, and you're like, man, I just need a little something extra, even if your dose for THC is 5 or 10 milligrams, you can take 50 milligrams of CBG. You can take 100 milligrams of CBG, and you're really going to get those benefits. Anti-inflammation, pain relief, relaxation, just everything you want after a strenuous hike or a strenuous workout. So, took my CBG tablets, took my daughter to soccer practice, felt great, like no pain, no inflammation, no swelling in my knees, which I would normally get after a long hike like that. And that was great. So that was product number 3. Got home, ready to get a little high again, I think. So I wanted to find something that was going to keep me energized, because it was still only about 6 p.m., and keep me energized for the evening, but also give me a nice, relaxing body effect that is going to help with pain relief. So I took a Kiva Lost Farm 100 milligram Blue Dream gummy. For me, Blue Dream is one of the most balanced cultivars out there. It really gives me uplifting, happy, cerebral energy while also being very relaxing in my body, giving me great pain relief, and it's just fun for me. I was putting my daughter to bed that night, so I was like, I'm going to take something that's going to make, sitting and reading to her and singing to her a little more fun, a little more exciting. So I took the Blue Dream gummy. Felt great, really gave me the exact effect I wanted, continued the pain relief that the CBG had started, but now I had a little high as well. So that lasted me through the evening. Pain relief stayed great. I was happy. I was energetic. As it was time for bed, 9, 10 o'clock, that energy starts to wind down. Effects get more into the body. Pain starts to come back a little bit. So I finished the night with a THC-rich topical cream. Again, non-psychoactive, great way to end the night. This was called Blue Sage. I believe it's only available in California, but I'm sure wherever you are, there are some great topical options out there. And I just, right into my knees, right into my ankles, a little bit went a long way. And it's just soothing. I could instantly feel the pain relief. It got me through the night. A lot of times after a hike, I might wake up in the night, my knees a little sore, my ankles are sore. This kept me pain-free throughout the night, and it was just a great way to end the day after, a long 13-mile hike earlier in the morning. So, this is just a way to show that there are a lot of different types of products that can really benefit and aid a workout both before, during, and after. That some are going to be psychoactive, some are going to be non-psychoactive, some are going to be ingestibles, some are going to be topicals. There's a lot of different ways that you can aid a workout throughout the day. And, 5 products in a day is not sustainable for everybody, for every day. Maybe if you only go on a little, a shorter hike or have a little more of a mild workout, you don't require as much, recovery. But for those that go on take a really big hike, have a really big workout, there's a lot of ways that you can aid in your recovery that both are psychoactive and non-psychoactive.
Well, thank you so much for all of that great detail. And I think, a couple really important points that I heard you bringing up, one is method of ingestion, which we talk about a lot on this show. And, thinking about wanting something that you're going to feel right away, but that might wear off more quickly versus something that's going to be longer and sustained. We talk about the differences there. And then I think the point that not everything has to be psychoactive. Our bodies have endocannabinoid systems. We've discussed this on the show. And so different cannabinoids that we introduce can have different therapeutic effects without necessarily binding to the receptor in the brain that releases that signal of euphoria that you get from THC and CBG, CBD, even THCV, which has a kind of a milder psychoactive effect than THC, are really, really good choices. And I'm also really glad you brought up topicals. We talk about a lot about topicals as products that people that are really kind of nervous about ingesting cannabis can use and use anywhere for localized pain. So great for knee pain and arthritis pain. And, you can be at your kid's soccer game and pull out your topical and rub it on your knee and no one is the wiser and you're able to get that relief. So I love how you brought together a lot of different methods of ingestion, but also a lot of different cannabinoids, like really taking advantage of all the plant has to offer. Christina, what did you think?
I really like how he broke down the effects that he felt from each one, especially some of the minor cannabinoids that our viewers and listeners might not be familiar with. We've all probably seen and heard of CBG and THCV, but we may be afraid of them or maybe afraid to try because we don't know what it's going to do to us. So again, I really love too that you brought in like CBD and other minor cannabinoids in with the THC and made it all about what it is that you're looking for and trying to fit that into also the lifestyle.
Yeah, and that's one of the best things about, alternative cannabinoids is that you can really kind of play around with them and find what mixture works best for you. There's a lot of products on the market now that are including multiple cannabinoids. It's not, the classic is just, okay, well, this is THC and CBD 1-to-1 or different ratios. But now we're seeing products with CBG, CBC, THCV. There's a tablet that I really like that's THC, CBG, and THCV together. And those are three that I think are just a great cocktail for a workout, those three together, because you get the cerebral energy from the THCV, the body relaxation and pain relief from the CBG, and then the THC for that psychoactive effect when you're out in nature and just want to take everything in. And because a lot of these minor cannabinoids, as you said, Amanda, are non-psychoactive, it really allows you to play around with them more and kind of find, which combination works best for you. And you might find this is great for a hike. I found a combination that I love for playing golf. I found a combination that I love for, relaxing and watching TV. Like you can really find every kind of combination to fit any part of your lifestyle.
Well, Christina, you know what I'm going to say? That's why I love tinctures.
I was going to say, I was going to say, maybe you were going to say, he didn't mention tinctures, but I love them.
Tinctures because you can get all of those different cannabinoids and you can really kind of dial in those ratios. And I know I've mentioned before that my dog, Bojack, is on a tincture of THC, CBG, and CBD for his skin. That's done amazing things for him. So, get out there, play around, use those 30-to-1 CBD, THC if you're nervous about psychoactivity. I use a 30-to-1 CBD, THC tincture every single night. And so it really allows people to kind of experiment. And like you said, Scott, find different effects that are perfect for different environments. And it's all about set and setting. So you really want to be able to match your mindset to the setting. And then you'll be able to really get into kind of pairing different cannabis products with different activities. I will warn people out there, and Scott already said this, that we say this a lot. Go, start low, go slow, especially if you're going to be somewhere where you could injure yourself, right? You don't want to fall down. You don't want to get lost. You want to have a good time. So make sure you know how the product you're going to take affects you before you go out into nature. And then maybe even start with a smaller dose than you usually would, because sometimes being out in nature itself can enhance the effects of cannabis, and it actually may feel more psychoactive than just using it sitting on your couch and watching Netflix. Once you get out there and you have all the stimulation and your adrenaline going and your endocannabinoid system going, and make sure you bring plenty of water with you as well.
Yes,
And
yes,
just as much
absolutely.
as you like tinctures, I like microdosing. So I always recommend starting super low with a 1 milligram or 2.5 if you can find, because the last thing you want to be is, like you said, enhanced, take something and then be enhanced out in nature by yourself. So we want this to be enjoyable and relaxing and, be able to connect with nature and yourself. Like Scott said, I love that you use it to, connect with yourself too, and maybe get some downloads or do some creative thinking. So
Mhm.
whatever you're doing, find what works best for you.
Yeah. And that's why I
Yeah.
really like the product that I brought with me on the hike, because it is a low dose. But, for a high dose consumer like myself, I was halfway through the hike. I was a little hungry. It wasn't a big deal for me to eat multiple of these little chocolate bite sized pieces. But if you are a low dose consumer, you can take just one, go an hour on your hike and then say, you know what, I think I'm ready for another one, and take another one, because they're so tiny, they're so easy to consume. So that's for during the hike. I really like products that are easy to consume.
Yeah. Yeah. You definitely don't want to have to rely on smoking when you're out in nature, because one, wind can be really difficult to light something on fire, and two, fires. You may not want to be out in nature in certain parts of the country and certain parts of the year with things that can blow around, where ashes can blow around. So, edibles are really great for that because, like Scott said, you can just pop it in your mouth as you're going. You can wait a little while, see how you feel. It's just a really great option. So, well, Christina, Scott, this was great. This was so helpful. And I know that there's folks out there that are going to want to go to their local dispensary, find some products like the ones you mentioned, and definitely try them out when they're going on their next outdoor adventure. So, Christina, do you want to close us out?
Let's take us out. So we're going to wrap up this episode for you, and we hope Scott's ideas maybe inspired some fresh ideas for your next outdoor fitness journey. Remember, whether you're experimenting with cannabinoids or you're fine-tuning your consumption method, the best approach is the one that works uniquely for you. And if you're ready for more tips, tricks, and plant-powered wisdom, you know what to do. Check out our YouTube channel and hit subscribe. If you have thoughts or you want to share your own questions, you can drop us a line at info@mypersonalplants.com. We love hearing from you. Until next time, keep moving, keep curious, and keep the questions coming along.
Bye. Thank you.